Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to. If you're interested in creating more balance in your life, understanding your 5-element energetic nature, finding the path of greatest ease,
or releasing the baggage of this lifetime and discovering ancient alchemy that can help you fly in your life, join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical transformational journey.
Hey, welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is Jay, and this is Pod 33, and we're going to continue our conversation about alchemical life strategy. I'm with my co-host, Lita Herman.
Hey, everyone. We're excited to be back to talk more about this awesome topic. I love the life strategy topic because it's as Jay says, action, inspired action. This is what it's all about.
I truly feel that inspired action and positive action is more powerful than words.
Truly.
And I think you can use them all.
That's
you can use positive thinking. You could use positive affirmations. But until you get off your butt and have some positive action, things are not going to change.
And positive thinking is very powerful because it's going to set up how you get your inspired actions.
Absolutely. I mean, we love Abraham and we just love all the positive, The Secret and all that stuff out there. And we're saying that's awesome and great, but
you need to get off your butt and do stuff.
And we want you to be inspired. So inspired thoughts, inspired action, get you some results.
So before we get started with the rest of this podcast, I just want to go over quickly. If you have any questions for us, you can email us at questions@inspiredactionpodcast.com. And if we use one of your questions on the air, we will send you a t-shirt.
Really cool Inspired Action t-shirt. And we do have another show. We've been collecting a few questions, so keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
And we can also go in the Facebook group and talk about it there.
Yes.
If you have questions, you can also, some people do videos and we try to help them figure out their 5 elements through their walks. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you can always talk to us. You can DM us from the Facebook group and send us your video of you walking if you're not sure what element you are.
Yeah, so this is Pod 33, and we're going to continue the conversation about alchemical life strategy.
And one more thing before we continue. Stay with us till the end of the podcast. We're going to talk about our new Master Alchemy program. If you're here with us in January 2019.
Yeah, and it's application only, and we've already reached we're not at the limit yet, but we have got quite a few people who will want to do it.
Yes, so there's a few spots left, and we would love to have you join us.
You can apply, and we will set up a conversation with you.
Yep. So
all right, fantastic.
Great. So let's dig a little deeper. I was thinking,
let me get my shovel out.
Right.
My alchemy life strategist shovel.
I was thinking that from the perspective of steps that people can do at home.
Sure.
If we can break things down very simply in these next few podcasts, like what would be the first step to developing a life strategy?
Well, I think honesty.
Okay.
You have to be honest with yourself. What are we talking about here? I'd say pick 1 or 2 palaces. Pick 1 or 2 things in your life and say, okay, if I could be a year from now happier here and here and here, that's a good start. So honesty and looking at your life from the 9 palace perspective.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned honesty because I really do think it's amazing how much people fudge their own stories about themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a survival mechanism. Like, oh, my job's not that bad, or my health is not that bad. I'm only 50 pounds overweight, or I'm only $25,000 in debt,
right?
Or I haven't taken a vacation in only 3 years.
Or how about when they blame something for something they're doing?
Yeah.
The one I hear a lot is, oh, the economy. It's the economy's fault.
I hear that. That's probably in the top 5 of what I hear when people say, I'd love to do a business or a new business, but the economy is bad. Or I'd love to move to a warm climate, but the real estate is bad.
But in reality, they didn't even look for a house.
No, because they stopped before they even did it. It's a story.
Yeah.
And they built a giant obstacle and they just said, it's not that bad.
But the buck stops here.
The buck stops here. That's a good one. I like that.
It stops with you.
Yeah, it is true. And it's no more excuses. So again, it goes back to the honesty. Face the fact that you are responsible for everything in the life that you've created.
Yeah.
And if they've done the gross points with you, you almost give them a clean slate on a lot of these issues, these emotional traumas. I mean, it's not always 100%, but it certainly gives them a new perspective.
Well, facing the fact that you create your reality is going to be hard for some people who were born with, rotten parents and bad situations. Like,
yeah, they were dealt really bad cards, they think. That's another story.
Yeah.
But the reality is some people have bigger challenges than others.
Yeah. And I think that we could kind of put that one aside because
I agree.
Wherever you are right now, if you're not, if someone's not hurting you or abusing you or anything like that, like let's say you're in a decent place in your life, even if you had a rough childhood, you're still here now and you can start creating positive.
You can start to be honest, shift your perspective, shift your reality. Remember, everything's an illusion. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad.
Right.
You can create a story if you start to remove some of these obstacles that have been in your life from day one.
Yep.
From when you were born.
So if they're not being honest with themselves, then what?
Well, I think that's definitely, honesty, and then to try not to be judgmental of yourself. So non-judgmental. And I think that one of the things that I try to emphasize when I'm working with someone is I'm not judgmental.
Yeah, you really create a non-judgmental space for people.
Yeah, and then they have to give themselves permission to not judge what they say, what they think. We talk about what other people think of them, and they just really have to put it out there for themselves.
So what if someone comes in and says, I'm just broken?
I do hear, I'm broken and I can't be fixed. I'm broken. Can you fix me? I'm broken. Can, you put a Band-Aid on it? I've heard them all. And I would say, well, tell me what broken means. And everyone has a different level of what broken is. Mm-hmm. And then I would maybe ask them, if you could fix yourself, what would you change? And then they might go through all of the different palaces, or they won't, I think the first three are always very popular, career, relationship, and wealth and health. Let's go with the top four. Okay. So those are always big ones, because let's think about it. If your health is off, that's like a domino effect on the other palaces. If your wealth is off, you often make it such a huge component of our lives right now in this world we live in, could throw a lot of different palaces off. And it also, I think wealth is one of the biggest palaces that people tell stories about. I can't do this because I have no money. I can't go there because I have no money. I can't get a person because I have no. Every single thing, sometimes it's through money.
I was thinking in our next podcast, we could really do a big deep dive into the wealth issues that people have.
I would say for today, a quick question you could ask yourself: how many decisions do you make every day based on money?
I bet a lot of people say 100%.
I had someone just the other day said every single one. So there, boom, we have something to work with. We have some place to go from there.
Yeah.
Because if we can even improve that a little bit, then that would be some progress, some momentum. We're looking for momentum. So you don't just want to beat yourself up when you start thinking about this today or tomorrow, because hopefully you will start to think about it. So think about the first one. Where's your career? Think about, okay, so what job do you have right now? Do you have a job or do you have a career? So the difference is, do you have a job you do just for money, or do you have a career that you love to do that by the way, bonus, you get paid for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you have a job or do you have a career? And do you have a job and you want a career? And it's that career, your passion. That's the best combination. So ask yourself that. Then you have a relationship. So then you say, do I have a relationship that I'm happy with? Do I want a relationship? A lot of people don't honestly want a romantic relationship. That's not an issue. But then I say, what's your relationship like with your parents or children or your neighbors or your boss, or your boss? And then sometimes things start to crumble a little bit. And then we find out why they don't want a relationship with another person. And it could be, again, layers. Go through that. And then the last one we could look at is health, because I think health is really important. So you could start to ask yourself, how is my health? And this is January 2019. So I have a lot of health things, challenges people are coming in with. They want to lose weight. They want to get in shape. They want to do all these different things. They want to start, self-cultivating. They've been listening to the podcast. They want to do, help. They want help to do a new routine in the morning. Those are all things that you can start to think about here tonight when you do your homework. I guess we should do homework soon.
Yeah, the other word, maybe this is about the homework too, but the other word you use often with honesty is accountability.
Yes,
this was a big one for me when you started working with me. I was blaming a lot of people and things. I wanted to write a book. We talked about this in one of the earlier podcasts. I wanted to write a book, and I had every excuse in the book why I wasn't writing the book. So you've been
writing that book for 10 years.
Yeah, and it was like,
it was part of your identity. It's what you told people, and it made yourself feel good.
That I was
it was
planning to write the
validating
book. Yeah.
your knowledge. It was validating your passion. It was validating your work. And you had that knowledge and you had that book in you. I think everyone has a book in you. That's another great saying, right? But I really do believe that everyone has at least one book in it, inside of each one of us. So it was just pulling out what was going on. So if you have the accountability, so you can ask yourself, are you accountable? You could say, am I accountable for the actions that I'm doing? And that could be, let's just take again.
So accountable for the non-actions.
For the non-action, even better. Yes.
Because I wasn't writing the book.
Yeah. So are you accountable? So if you have a health issue and you say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and this is the year, are you accountable? I would say if you looked at the history of the society that we live in right now, everyone makes this thing in January. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And the health clubs around the world, around the country are so happy. Their memberships go through the roof. Guess what? February and March, they're empty again.
Yeah.
So what happened? Where's the accountability?
No, not there.
Not there. So,
and that's about honesty with yourself. Again.
Honesty, non-judgment, accountability. They all go hand in hand in hand.
Well, how is it not judgmental?
Wait, we only have two hands, hand in hand.
How is it not judgmental if you don't push yourself to go? I mean,
okay, so
if you're being judgmental about not going to work out.
Okay, so it's really about judging yourself.
Right.
Oh, it's not going to make a difference anyways. If I miss one workout, it's not going to make a difference. If I eat that one cheeseburger, it's not going to make a difference. Then you eat the cheeseburger and you're like, oh my God, I'm a piece of beef because I ate the cheeseburger. Then you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to start again tomorrow. Then you get up tomorrow and you're tired and your sugar level is all yucky and your body feels gross and you're like, I'm going to sleep in a little bit. I'll go to the gym later. And then later comes, you worked all day, your sugar's crashing again, you eat more food, you don't go to the gym. It's like next thing you know, now 2 days you've missed at the gym. Or whatever your goal is.
You can easily see how months can go by.
Yeah. And so it's a slippery slope. And if you don't, the accountability of that is if you tell everyone that you know that you're going to go to the gym and you're going to eat healthy, and then you go into, I don't want to tell anybody, I feel shame, they're going to think I'm a loser, I can't stick with it, oh my God, here I go again. So that can be down another slippery slope. So what I like to do is I like to suggest people an accountability partner. Okay, someone that you can actually do it with, not just talk about it. Although if that's all you have, that's fine. But someone to actually go with you.
Right.
So if you're going to skip that gym, you're going to have to actually call them and say, hey, Lita, I can't go tonight because I'm really tired. And then you say, what?
I'll take you.
Come on, Jay. I'll
go with you.
I don't want to go alone. You said you were going to go with me. It could be a back and forth.
Right.
And if you have that agreement of you help me when I'm down and I'll help you when you're down, success rate will go up. It'll go up, up, up. Success rate will go up, 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 up. Because you have that communications. You have that trust. And you might have to have several accountability. I was working with someone this week and they wanted to go skiing. And they had no one to go skiing with. So instead of going there alone and meeting people, they called the first person and they said, I can't go. That's it. They quit. They were done. I'm like, that's, you go, you got to have at least 5 people to go. And that's not a weight thing, but that's an enjoyment and a health, and they will get health benefits from exercise. But so you can't just have one person. You have to have multiple. But if you only have one, then go with the one. If you only have a person on the phone, even if that person lives across the country, if that'll help you get over that few seconds of doubt, then you might have a chance.
So I'm thinking for homework, for, if you're like, I really want to work on this life strategy thing for myself, I think you need to imagine that you're your own coach.
Yep.
Or you can work with a friend, but you need to, I think, get a piece of paper out, your journal.
Yeah.
We always do the
Bring out your journal.
And think, okay, what am I not being honest about?
Pick one or two areas you really want to work on. Don't try to do them all.
9 palaces.
Yeah. Don't try to, I want them all fixed by like February. Pick one or two that are really important to you.
So start with maybe career, health, wealth, relationship.
Yeah,
Those are the main ones.
A couple,
maybe creativity if you need to.
Sure. If you have a passion, like if you want to make music or you want to be a painter and you really haven't done that in a while, maybe that could be one of the 3.
In your journal, write down maybe 3 things.
Yeah, let's pick 3.
Where you honestly, truly think you are BSing yourself.
Well, before we didn't even talk about this in the beginning. Just, be easy on yourself. You are beautiful. You're enough. You're already a perfect being.
Right. So this isn't about being judgmental.
Yeah, no judgment. You're already enough.
Right.
So it's what you want to maybe.
Well, it's like when I was not actually writing the book, but I was telling everyone I was writing the book.
And you really did want to write a book. And so if there's something you're not doing that you really want to do.
And I wasn't a piece of bleep because I wasn't writing the book.
Correct.
I just needed to be honest with myself. Yeah. And then you helped me do that. Dang, I'm not actually writing the book. I'm just talking about it.
Yeah. So if there's a few things in your life that you want to, course correct, here's your chance to say, okay, I'm ready, self. I want to course correct this because you know what? I don't want to go another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years with this story. Yeah. So with that in mind, pick 3 things that you'd want to look at from the 9 palaces. You've heard us talk about the 9 palaces. And then you could start to unravel the stories.
And then once you figure out what those 3 things are, pick one of them and think, do I need an accountability partner to do it?
Yeah. And you could also say, do the why test. So give me an example, Lita, of something that someone might want to change.
Well, you said it. Everyone in January likes to work out more.
So if you say, this is the year I want to lose 50 pounds, and I would say, why? And you said, why don't you play along, Lita? So why? Why do you want to lose 50 pounds?
Oh, I want to wear, clothes that I think look really great.
Why? Why?
Because I want to look better.
Why? Why do you want to look better?
Makes me feel better about myself.
So self-esteem?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else? Why else do you want to lose 50 pounds?
Oh, I think it'll make me healthier.
How would it make you healthier?
It'll be easier to move around.
I mean, so you can see I can go on and on and on because you still haven't gotten to one that's going to make you, what's the difference? Everybody knows everything that you said. There's nothing different yet.
Maybe I'm not passionate enough about it.
You haven't found the one that makes you go, oh, this is it. I'm done carrying this extra weight because I can't go up the stairs without sweating or panting. Or, I really want to. I've always, always, always wanted to run a 5K.
Maybe the honesty,
you don't know.
At that point, maybe the honesty might be, there's not a really good reason to do it. And maybe that's not the one I want to work on.
Everyone tells me I need to lose weight.
Right.
So you have to keep going with yourself until you get that.
I like that.
That moment where this is where I'm going to shift my perspective. I'm going to change my identity. And then we'll have a strategy. I will help you do a strategy to change your identity.
So if I can't come up with a good reason why I want to lose weight, you might tell me to work on something else.
Otherwise you're going to be back here in 6 months saying, guess what? I did it for a week or 2 and then I gave up because we didn't go far enough to have you want to change your identity. So let's just say we tap onto something and you're like, oh my God, I've always wanted to run the 5K my whole life. And now I have a partner or a friend at work and they're pushing me. So I decided to do it. So I've committed. I get this a lot. I've committed to a marathon. I've committed to a 5K. I've committed to something. So now they have another catalyst. We talked about catalysts before. So, okay, it's not the perfect catalyst, but we'll take it. And so then I say, okay, we're going to change your identity. We're going to shift your perspective. Someone who's going to run a marathon, this is what they need to do. So you have to eat like a person who's going to run a marathon. You have to train like a person who's going to run like a marathon. You have to think. You have to hang around with other marathon runners. You have to change your identity. If you're going to run a marathon, you're not going to wake up every day and go, am I going to buy a pack of cigarettes today and smoke? No. Marathon runners do not smoke.
Right.
Okay. You're not going to wake up in the morning and go, do I need to go to McDonald's drive-thru or am I going to go to Burger King drive-thru? Guess what? People who run marathons usually, I'm going to say that usually, do not go to Burger King or McDonald's or eat fast food, or fat food. They have a diet. So then we have to get a nutritionist. You have to find a way. You have to become your own nutritionist. And if you can't find one, we'll get you a nutrition coach or someone who can help you. Usually a friend or some resource that we would discover through our conversation would get you on the path. So you have to become the identity. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just not, if you're like, okay, I'm just going to walk a couple laps at the track and I'm going to eat better and drink a little bit more water. No, you want to run a marathon. You have to sleep better. You have to drink more water. You have to eat balanced food. You have to have your energy levels. You have to have a strategy. That's how you run a marathon.
That's awesome.
You just don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to run a marathon.
Now I want to go run a marathon.
Yeah. So we could come up with a strategy. So then you remove the obstacles. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough money to hire a nutrition coach. And then you realize, and I've had a couple of people say, you know what? That's not that bad. I think because we start with baby steps, like with you, with the book, we'd say, okay, so why don't we start with, let's work on the basics. You need to work on your diet. You know what you want to do. You already have a strategy that works. You have to drink more water. You have to get more sleep. You have to get up a little bit earlier. You have to stretch and you have to start to run. Well, I've never run before. Okay. Then you have to start with a walk program. So you have to walk and then you have to run. And then, so you could say, okay, it's going to take you 26 weeks to be able to get up. So you have to start with day 1 and then you move your way through. You just keep taking away, I can't do this, I can't. Well, here's what you can do. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can do.
It's like when I kept saying there's no time to write my book. You got me to do 1 hour a day.
Yeah. We said if you could do just 1 hour, you're like, okay, I can do 1 hour.
But you actually had to walk me through how to get an hour out of my day.
And you had plenty of time. You had eventually 2 to 3 hours you were writing. You got on such a tear because your heart opened up, you got passionate, and the book came out of you. So if you're going to run the marathon and you start to get more sleep and you get more energy and you drink more water and you're eating better and you have someone to do this with, you could do it alone though, but even if you have some kind of accountability, then you start to make progress. And that's a good place to stop. But wait, before we go, we have a couple things we'd like to chat about.
Yes, we're going to continue this conversation in our next podcast.
Yay! We have a lot to talk about.
We are very excited. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the podcast about our new Master Alchemy program.
And this is going to be for a small group of will want to be alchemists that'll not only start your alchemical journey, but you could also illuminate a clear path for the rest of your life. To begin, to go on.
Yeah, and there's 3 tracks in this program. There's a healer's track for acupuncturists or acupressurists or other kinds of healers that have a practice. And then there's a life strategist track.
Yay!
And that's the track that'll work a little more closely with Jay, and a self-cultivation track.
And that's really the one that people have just been jumping on board for the self-cultivation one. And I think that'll go hand in hand a lot with the podcast as well. And this is going to be an active immersion. I am ready to do the work, life-changing, identity-shifting, permission to be yourself kind of program.
All right. And we're just really excited because a lot of people who are really into the podcast have been asking for more. And so
this is years in the making.
Yeah.
We just decided to roll it out for 2019. We have many components that we're going to share with you and teach with you as this year unfolds. So if you're interested, if something has struck a chord, if you're ready to make the changes in your life,
yes, this
is a great thing to look at. Just look at it. See if you're in alignment with it.
So check it out. It's at inspiredactionpodcast.com/MAP, M-A-P, which is Master Alchemy Program.
And I just want to say it's application only. It's not for everyone. It's like a specialty thing. But if it rings true and you're like, so far people that have responded, I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm called to do. So if those are your kind of responses after you check out the website, then click the button that says, let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
And the other thing I wanted to remind people about is we have now an app.
Yay!
So
Boy,
you
that
can-
was a long time in the making.
You can listen to the podcast. You can go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and download the app. And it's kind of nice. I like it a lot.
It's going to grow. We're going to add
Yeah.
a lot of stuff to it. So it's in its very beginner baby steps, or stages, I should say, right now. But we have big plans for the app. And
Yeah.
as the year unfolds, we're also going to be working with the app people on making that really accessible, really easy to use. We're going to have a lot of bonus stuff included. Plus all the meditations will be on there. A lot of new stuff. And just some surprises we have planned for along the way.
Yes.
So a lot going on. Woohoo! And stay with us for 2019. We just have a lot of cool things we want to talk about.
Yes. And we're really excited about the next podcast. So join us for more on life strategies and how to do it yourself.
So if you have any questions, send us to questions@inspiredactionpodcast.com. And if we use them, you're going to get a super cool t-shirt. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Inspired Action Podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there? We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at Lita@inspiredactionpodcast.com or Jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.